Okay, let's go ahead and start with today's lesson, section 5.4 on radicals and solving equations with those. So go ahead and look at these steps, and those are helpful hints as to how we're going to go about solving. So let's go ahead, now that we've read those, and move on to an equation. Okay, so let's consider how we go about solving an equation such as this. So for all of these equations, we want to keep in mind, as we've talked about all the time, number one thing you want to do is addition or subtraction. Don't see it. Number two, a multiplication or division. Definitely see that here. There's a 2 being multiplied, so we'll divide by 2. Okay? Next thing, do you see any exponents? Yes, we do. This radical is an exponent, actually, isn't it? It's the 1/2 power. So how do we undo that? Well, let's square both sides. And we'll be left with x plus 1. Of course, the square and the radical undo one another. And then step number 4 would be parentheses, which we did actually see that that exponent just undid the parentheses. So I guess we're back to step number 1, addition or subtraction. Now it's important, really imperative, that we check all of our answers now since we're dealing with radicals, because it's possible that one of our answers may not actually provide a real solution. And let's see if that ever occurs today, but let's just always check our answers. All right, let's keep going. Let's just go through all sorts of samples of solving equations. Okay, go ahead and write that one down, and let's see how we're going to solve that. So, do we see any addition or subtraction? We sure do. Let's take care of that first. Left with the cube root of 2x minus 9 equals 3. I don't see any multiplication or division outside of this grouping, so next thing to do is take care of this cubed root. Best way to do that, do the opposite. Let's cube it. That will cancel it out. 3 cubed is 27. Now we're down to just the basics of solving equations. And if we divide by 2, x is 18. Once again, let's put that back into the original problem, check it, see if it gives you a true statement or not. Okay, and that one works. On to the next. Okay, let's work through these. Everybody try that one. Okay, step number 1. Step number 2. Step number 3, check this. Does that make a true statement? And it does. Next question. Go ahead and try that. Okay, now you can't subtract the 25 first. You got to take care of this exponent of 1/2. So you're going to square it. Subtract. Oops, that's a 25 there. Okay, let's see. Put that there. And that's true. Okay. How about this equation? Let's check this one. Or let's try this. So what would you do about this? Well, I'm thinking the only option we have is to square both sides. That radical is the real issue. Now over here on the left-hand side, we got to remember this is the only way you can square something. On the right-hand side, the square root has canceled itself out. So we got to go through a FOIL method over here. I think we can put some like terms together here. And then maybe also collect everything to one side. So that's the next thing we're going to do. Let's move this and that to the other side. Okay, so let's see what that would be. So if you subtract 7x and you subtract 15, now we got to solve that. Can that be factored? I think so. Two numbers and multiply to give you that, add together to give you that. How about this? Zero product property. Seven and -2, supposedly, but what we need to do is we need to check those. Let's shrink this down a little bit. Okay, so what we need to do is go back to the original problem and see if these are actual solutions. So let's take this 7, put it here and there and calculate. That'd be 8 on the left-hand side. And 49, 64. It is a true statement. Now let's try the -2. So that'd be a -1 on the left-hand side and a 1 on the right-hand side. So in this case, I think we've got a little bit of an issue, right? So in this case, that -2 does not give you a true statement. Throw it out. There's only one real answer. Okay, let's take a look at this. How would you go about solving this? If you got square roots, you need to get rid of them. We need to square both sides. All right, let's see what's happened. So over here, on the right-hand side, it's just going to be 3 minus x. Okay, we need to do a FOIL method. Are you ready? Multiply these two together. It's just x plus 2, right? Square roots cancel out. That's plus square root of x plus 2. Multiply these together. And multiply those together. All right, let's try to combine some like terms together. Okay, there's 2 of those. Let's see if we can do all this at one time. move that 3 over there by subtracting. So you got the, let's highlight our like terms. We got 2, a 1, which is 3, and then minus 3. Those are gone. Okay. And then finally, let's add an x to the other side. And you can see that you're going to have 2x. Okay, now, in this case, what would you do at this point? I think that I'm going to move this 2x to the other side. Second thought when I look at this, drop this down. There's a lot of things you could do here. I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to divide by 2. Okay, I think I am going, I don't like the square root. I'm going to square it. And then I'm going to bring everything to the other side. So now, can we factor this? I think so. Two numbers to multiply to give you -2, add up to give you -1. There we go. Let's write our solutions, and then we need to check them. All right. So let's see if those are actual solutions. So let's go back to the original. And 2 is the first. So let's superimpose a 2 here and a 2 there. Let's do a mental check. 4 and 2 plus 1 is 3. And 3 minus 1 is 2. No, 2 does not work, does it? That'd be 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 minus 2 is 1, which is 1. 2 does not work. Let's try -1. -1 and -1. So that'd be 1 is 2. And 3 plus 4 is 2. Yes, that does work. There's your answer. Now, how about this? What if an equation is presented with a rational exponent? I'm telling you, it's the same steps. Start with this. Now, the question is, how do you get rid of the 3/4? Watch this. Raise it to the 4/3. Raise this to the 4/3. So when you multiply these exponents, they cancel out. So you're left with 2x equals, now this, I'm going to think of this as the cube root of 8 to the 4th power. So that'd be 2 to the 4th power. That'd be 16. And now I just solve that. Once again, does that work? Let's put an 8 right here. 16 would be 2 cubed. Yes, it does work. Do mental math on that. All right, let's try this one. What would you do first? All right, well, I think what I would do is I would square both sides. And by squaring both sides, 2 times 1/2 cancels itself out. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move both those terms the other side. And I am going to factor. Two numbers and multiply to give you negative 30. Add up to give you negative 1. Okay, solutions. Maybe 6 and negative 5, but we need to test those out. All right, let's start with a 6. Let's get a clean slate here. So what if this were a 6? Square root of 36 is 6. Yeah, that works. What if we had a negative 5 here? So that'd be 25. It's 5, and that is negative 5. So that does not work. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. All right, so let's try number 8. Okay, what would you do about this one? All right, so that fractional exponent, what I would do is I'd raise everything to the third power. So let's see what we get here. Those cancel. That would be a negative 27 when you multiply over there. Divide by 3. Okay, now once again, you got to do a mental check. Does that work up here? So if you put a negative 9 right there, it does work. So that's correct. What would you do here? Square both sides, right? Cancel those out. Okay, turn this into a quadratic equation by moving both these terms over here. Factor. That's a negative 3, sorry. Positive 2. So the solutions maybe are this, but we need to test these. So let's start off by putting a 3 in here first. Put a 3 there, and a 3 there. That checks, right? Let's put the negative 2 in here. B4 would be 2, and a negative 2 here. That's not correct. So those are the only solutions there, or just 3. Okay, next question. What would you do here? Well, I think I multiply to the 4/3 power. And when you multiply these together, of course, they cancel out. X plus 2 equals 8 to the 4/3. So I'm thinking that's like the cube root of 8 to the 4th power. That'd be 2 to the 4th. That'd be 16, wouldn't it? Solve. Okay, check that. Does that work? Let's go back up to the original. Put a 14 right there. Yes, that does work.